Backed by popular demand, the Tudor Black Bay Thunderdome. Today we're bringing you the Tudor Black Bay Thunderdome Part 2, featuring the Black Bay Monochrome and a couple other Black Bays. We're going to duke it out and see which Black Bay reigns supreme. Maybe this will be a continuing series even beyond this video. Who knows? We've got a full cast of characters here today. I'm Zach Kazan, managing editor, joined by Kyle Snar, head of partnerships.
Hello, hello.
Ricardo Sime, wind-up shop manager, and Ed Jelly, contributing editor to Warren Wound.
How's it going?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Ready to battle it out in the Thunderdome?
I can tell you that I did not come here to compete. I came here to win.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the confidence we like to see heading into the Thunderdome. I want to start with Ed Jelly, who has in front of him the Tudor Black Bay Monochrome, newly released at Watches and Wonders this year. Ed, you're just getting a look at this watch for the first time just in the last couple hours since you've been in the office. What are your first impressions of the Black Bay Monochrome?
So it's definitely a dive watch, which is I think what it set out to do is be like a pretty perfect example of a dive watch. It's 41 millimeters, so it has a nice wrist presence. It's like 13.6 millimeters thick, which is not super thin, not super thick. Wears well on the wrist. We got it on the rubber strap here, which the balance is a little off. Like the top is a little heavy. Maybe one of you guys can use that for ammo later if you so choose. But like it's just like if you're looking for a black diver of a certain level of quality that you can rely on and trust, this seems like a no-brainer for anybody really. So Tudor kind of killed it with this. They started off with the red one in these new
from last year,
kind of souped up models. Like these are they Metis? Are they Kosk? Are they?
Yeah, no, these are master chronometer certified movements. They're COSC certified, and then they have an additional certification against magnetism and all sorts of other things. They're kind of like the most advanced certified movements that Tudor makes.
And 70-hour power reserve, which is nice. So it's kind of one of those like throw it on, wear it all week, maybe take it off for the weekend if you so choose, and don't worry about it. Pick it up Monday and off you go. If you're a one watch kind of person, this would make a really solid option.
Yeah, I'm the owner of the burgundy bezel version of this watch from last year, which I think was the winner of the last Thunderdome. No one who competed in the last Thunderdome is here to defend themselves. So I'll point that out. But I love the size of this watch. The profile of the case I think is really nice, and I think the black version, the monochrome version, is something that a lot of people have sort of been asking for. You know, we hear this conversation in the watch community. When is Tudor going to like re-release the Tudor Submariner? And I think this is kind of as close as they're going to come to that. It's sort of like the most classic example of their classic dive watch, I think. What do you think of the rubber strap?
It's fine. I'm not blown away by it. I do like the steel end links. That's a nice touch. And I do like the clasp that has the micro adjust. Is that T-fit or is that a different...
it has the T-fit on the...
Okay, so yeah, you've got a nice bit of travel there. So if you are swimming or whatever you're doing and you need a couple extra clicks there on the adjustment, it's great.
Yeah.
Comfortable. It's a high-quality leather strap. I would like to see this on the oyster style rivet bracelet. I know a lot of people like that 5-link.
Yeah, it's nice that they give you an option. You know,
three options is pretty nice. And starting at $42.25 on rubber, and then a couple $100 more for the steel bracelets, either of the steel bracelets.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so that's contestant number 1 in the Thunderdome. Ricardo, let's go to you next. You have the Black Bay Steel. I feel like this is sometimes the forgotten Black Bay. It doesn't really get talked about a whole lot. Tell us a little bit about this watch and why it's your Black Bay of choice.
So it's my Black Bay one because it was one of the first to have a date function on it.
Yep.
Also one of the first to have an in-house movement. At that time, a lot of people were angry at Tudor for deciding to kind of step away from that movement and then go their own route. I actually felt like it was a great move for the brand, so as soon as I heard about that, I was like, okay, this is the watch I want. I don't know if I should say I'm a square, but I'm a very simple guy when it comes to watches, and this was one of the first very simply designed Black Bays. Before this, there were all the colors, the blues, the burgundies, like watches that I would have bought, worn for like a month, and probably have just sold. But this is so versatile that the second I saw it, I was like, I know this is going to be my Black Bay, no doubt.
There's something like kind of neutral about that steel bezel that I think is very appealing. It just gives the whole package a very different look, I think, than any other Black Bay that they make.
Yeah, and the touches of red you have on the dial, you have here on the loom here on the steel bezel, shows signs of wear really well.
And you've worn that watch a lot. I was looking at it before. It's got some scratches to the case. You've been wearing it hard.
And I'll be the first to say, did not come with a rubber strap, did not have T-fit, did not have METAS certification and all that stuff. But it was chronometer certified. It's about 7 years old now for me, and it's lasted perfectly. Right now, I don't even have it on the original bracelet. I have it on this shark mesh, which just adds to that toolish look.
Yeah, it looks great on the mesh.
And yeah, this was, it was funny. For months, I had looked at Black Bays, and then I was about to say Watches and Wonders, but back then it was still Baselworld. This came out at Baselworld, and you guys know that feeling. You see a watch for the first time, and it's just like, that's it. And that was the relationship between this watch and me. Like, I saw it the first time, and there was no question. This was going to be my Black Bay.
It's really cool. It's I always enjoy seeing it when you post it on social media, or when I see it when I'm in the office. It's definitely kind of like a relic of a previous era of Black Bays. It has that original, case profile. It's
thicker
a little bit thicker.
Snicker.
Yeah, but it still looks proportional. It's not, it's probably a little bit too thick for my personal taste now that I've experienced the new one, but it doesn't look wrong to me in any way.
It still messes with my mind to think that that's a 41 and this is a 41.
Yeah.
And then,
this one seems like visually quite a bit larger.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, let's go to you. You've been itching to get into the Thunderdome since we devised of this concept. You've got another kind of uncommon Black Bay. This is the Black Bay 36. Why don't you tell us about your personal Black Bay?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the Black Bay 36 with the blue dial.
Yeah.
And I actually came across this watch from a review written by someone for Worn and Wound who's sitting at this table, Mr. Ed Jelly. You can never just say Ed. It's always Ed Jelly.
It's both.
Jelly.
It's usually both. It's very hard to just stop at the two letters.
Yeah, you just go Ed Jelly.
First name,
it's
last
all
name.
one word.
Yes.
You wrote about this a few years ago.
Yep.
And I instantly was like, this, much like Ricardo, this is my Black Bay. This is meant for me. So this is the 36, which is that kind of perfect size for my wrist, not too big, not too small. And this is, like, a lot of people call it a bezel-less Black Bay, but it's not a bezel-less. It's got a bezel.
Yeah.
It's a smooth bezel.
Yeah.
But there's something about that three-hand simplicity of this, where there is no date functionality, there is no twisty sort of gadgets or things on it. It just takes it down to a pure and simple three-hand functionality, which just simplifies everything. And this is, for me, like that perfect go anywhere, do anything watch. This looks just as good as it on the beach as it does in a suit. It slides really well under a cuff. You can wear it with anything and anywhere. It's like t-shirt and blue jeans, no problem. A white shirt and tie, no problem. And it can be dressed up and dressed down in such a versatile way. So there's something just, I don't know, I think we used to talk a lot about like the dressy tool watch.
Yeah.
This kind of fits that mode like to a T. It doesn't come off like a diver, but it has diver markings on it, so you still can look at it and get that kind of tool-tastic vibe back at you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't read that way on the wrist.
It has like basically all the functionality of a diver except for that bezel.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it's and I like the 36 millimeter size. It feels like a very classic kind of throwback watch. 36 millimeters is obviously the size of the classic Datejust. It's the size of the classic Rolex Explorer, and so I feel like they've kind of transferred a lot of that energy into this particular version of the Black Bay.
Yeah, and this is a slightly older model. So this is the one that has kind of the full kind of Black Bay slab side profile, and has one of my favorite features, which is the little rotor self-winding like smile on the
Smile dial.
And so for me, what I like about this, and the ETA movements, so the ETA movements in this, which just means it's more serviceable by anyone who needs to get their hands on it rather than being that in-house movement. I'm glad I got this version prior to it changing to the version that has the more of the curved kind of sides to it, as well as they kind of messed with the crown. This crown's a little weird. It has that weird kind of black
tube, yeah.
gap.
Yeah.
But it is satisfying when you pull out the crown to have a nice solid, crown to mess with rather than one that's just teetering on a little teeny pin. So there is a feeling of quality for sure. And yeah, it's kind of bulletproof. It's 19 millimeter strap width there. So, just stays on the bracelet. That's just fine.
It's a good bracelet though.
Yeah, it's a great. It doesn't have the fancy schmancy, T-fit stuff, but it is rivetless.
Yeah.
And hey man, like I like the simplicity of it all.
It is like a super simple. I'm gonna use the word generic, but I don't mean it in a bad way.
No.
It's just kind of like just a pure kind of.
Pure, I like that word. No, that's not generic. It's pure.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Ed, you not only reviewed that watch, you also own that.
I still own it.
Watch. So do you have, what do you have to kind of add on to it?
I think that they got it right with this version. The new version kind of drops the tool and goes more hard on the dress. It's got like a sunburst style. It's a little fancier. It just doesn't have the same like Black Bay feel to it. It almost like feels like it should be maybe in like what's the 1928 line or something. Is that the right year? I'm very bad
I think that's
that.
right.
Yeah. Where it leans more dress watch than it does like kind of explorer adjacent.
Yeah.
And I also think I have the blue dial, and the blue is just like it's the perfect color blue. It looks bright when it's sunny. It looks dark when it's dark. It changes. Like
You're still in my script here.
All right, fine. Fine. I'll dial it back.
Here I'm gonna say. So you guys have these black
boring.
and white
Go ahead, say it.
watches. They're monochromatic, literally by name. It's like that's what you're going for. This dial, like Ed was just saying, again, stealing my script here, it does change. It's this beautiful tone of blue that, depending on the light, it can go as black as yours are, honestly, or a bright poppy blue that just honestly, like, really, really pops off the wrist. And so, yeah, I think I can get the monochrome vibe in certain lights, and I can enjoy that kind of dark, kind of saturated dial. But in other times, it's popping off the wrist, and so it's an attention. It's like an under the radar, but if people notice it, then they really do notice it. So I'm going to say that this is a better solution than either of these, only because the versatility of how you can use this with whatever you're wearing and wherever you're going outpaces these two other watches.
All right, so Kyle, you've laid your claim for the Black Bay
with some help from this guy, apparently.
Ricardo, defend the Black Bay steel, or if you want, you can
jump on this bandwagon.
You can jump on another watch.
I can't lie. There was a good portion of time where I jumped on that bandwagon. The thing that kept me away from that is it's still a Black Bay. I want a Black Bay diver.
Yeah,
that was the thing that drew my attention to the collection from the moment I saw it. I always felt with that I would wear it, but there would always be a longing for something else. So, and that is what kept me away from the simple three-hander. And that is why I went to this. I feel like the next step after that would be this watch.
Yeah.
Because you still have a steel bezel. It just happens to have bezel dive functionality.
Exactly. Versatile steel. For me, it just worked better. And I still think it works better because I feel like even though that's a great everyday watch, and I have to watch myself because I'm about to probably help him out a little bit too. Even though it is, I really think it is probably a better everyday watch to represent a brand than I would even say the OP. And I say that because that dial still so says Black Bay. The handsets, the markers, like you still have that original creation there. But for what I was looking for, and what I think a lot of people were looking for when they think about a Black Bay, they think about a diver, but then at the same time, I think a lot of people also think about just versatility.
Sure.
And with this, I get the versatility. Yes, I know it's on the shark mesh right now, and it looks like I'm about to go 1,000 leagues into the sea, but toss this on like a nice piece of thick leather. It still has a great look. Toss this on the original bracelet. For me, on my wrist, it still fits under a cuff. I still like my Black Bay. I still think it is the Bay.
Listen, you've had it for
Bay.
7 years. You said you've had this watch.
7 years.
I mean, that's you really bond with the watch over the course of that period of time. So I think that's understandable. Ed, I want to throw it back to you so that you can close this out. If you had to pick from these 3 watches, let's set aside the fact that you own.
Right. Yeah. I've already
if we
chosen
can.
from the 3, but I can do it now.
Yeah. What are
funsies.
your thoughts on these 3? What are you picking?
I'll be
And
honest.
How does
like,
the new one?
I'll be honest. Like in my collection right now, this is so big. It's so big.
It works. It works. It is a diver.
It's a diver. Again, I'm not going under a couple leagues under the sea there, but I think like today I would take this over the 36, and like I don't have the wrist to pull that off. It's not that I don't like this watch, but like
I'm trying on. Try it on. Like before we come at the very least.
Today I would take this. I think like I've been kind of hankering for Submariner, and like there's just
It gets pretty close.
It's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
And like I don't think it's like, save up and buy the watch you want to buy or regret. I don't think there'd be any of that regret. Like this is like such a solid offering for a like the quintessential black dive watch. So like for me, they've taken all this stuff and refined it down into this.
So what I'm hearing here is that the Black Bay 41 has won again.
What? No,
Second straight Thunderdome.
Hold up.
We've got a champion in the Black Bay 41.
Give me one last little nudge here.
You get the last word.
So you have this crummy day, you're on the subway, then this little kid looks at you and smiles. What do? You smile back. This watch smiles at me all the time. If I'm having a rough time, I just look down, it's smiling right back at me. How do I not smile back? So
The watch
smiles back.
Does your straight face sad watches do that? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
You make a compelling argument, Kyle. Ricardo and Ed, you've also made compelling arguments. I've really enjoyed talking to you about Black Bays. There's so many Black Bays. We could definitely do this again. I think there's still Black Bays we have not even discussed in this video series. Thank you guys for coming on. And let us know in the comments what you think of these 3 Black Bays, what your favorite is, what Black Bays we haven't talked about, we should talk about. I'm sure you all have your own personal favorites. So let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll see you next time.